Hey dolls! So today I'm going to be filming a how to choose the perfect foundation for you video. I'm sort of doing this like a beginner's 101 series just because it's been really highly requested. I started off just doing a how to choose the right foundation color for you video, and a ton of you guys like loved it. After that, you guys started requesting other beginners videos, so then after that I did a how to apply foundation. In that last video I asked you guys if you guys wanted to see a how to choose the right foundation for you, and a bunch of you guys said yeah, that you would like to see that. Like I said, today's just going to be on solely how to choose the right foundation for you. So that includes just brands, budgets, finishes, cut, like anything like that. Not really how to choose the right color or anything like that. If you're interested in seeing more of how to choose the right color foundation and you already know what foundation you want to buy, then you can go ahead and check the videos that I linked down below, and those will help you a lot. It can be confusing, but I'm here to make it simple for you guys and sort of break things up into steps, and I'll give you guys some tips at the end of the video. So you guys know how I am when I do these sorts of talk videos with you guys, or like a tips video for you guys. I have to write on my notes on my phone to organize my thoughts. So if you see me referencing my phone and reading off my phone, then that is what I'm looking at. So first things first, I would say to choose a budget. So choose whether or not you kind of want something drugstore or something high-end. This is important because it's literally going to narrow your search down from 1 million foundations to 500,000. So you know what I mean? Like, you gotta know which, like, are you gonna go to Sephora for a foundation, or are you gonna go to Walmart or Target or CVS, Rite Aid, whatever other drugstores there are out there. There's plenty amazing foundations in the drugstore, and I'll show you guys. I have 2 high-end and 2 drugstore foundations to show you guys, all about what you can afford or your taste and how much you kind of want to spend on your makeup. I'll show you guys 2 drugstore foundations first. So the 2 drugstore foundations that I have and love are L'Oreal True Match, have Revlon Color Stay. I'll go into more about what the foundations do and things like that once I start talking about the other steps, and once it relates to these foundations, I'll point these out. So if you're interested in these foundations, I'm going to keep referencing them throughout the video, so just stay tuned. So for high end, I have my MAC Mineralized Skin Finish, and I have my Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo Foundation. Absolutely love these. Sorry, I didn't even mention the prices. So this is $41, and I believe this is, I think 36, 32, something like that. And then the Revlon Color Stay is anywhere from $10 to $12 depending on where you live. And L'Oreal True Match is $12.99 here in Canada. Huge difference in prices. That's why it's important to choose what you can afford and how much you kind of want to spend. Next step is pretty much one of the most important steps. You want to determine whether or not you want a light coverage, medium coverage, or a full coverage. I'll just quickly explain the 3 to you guys. So a full coverage is really going to cover everything. It's going to make sure that if you have any redness, blemishes, anything on your face, it's definitely going to cover it up. Medium coverage is typically medium to full coverage, meaning that it's medium. So if you put just 1 layer on your face, like just a little bit on your face, it's gonna cover, like, say 80 to 90% of those blemishes, but it's not gonna cover it fully. But it is buildable, meaning you can put a little bit more on certain areas and you can kind of build it up. Light coverage is something that you could, if you put 1 layer, you're just gonna get a really light, thin sort of layer of foundation that isn't going to cover a lot of blemishes. So light coverage foundations are good for people who already have pretty perfect skin but just kind of still want a base to their makeup and want to wear foundation. So really, it just all depends on what you need and what you want. Out of the 4 here, my top full coverage foundations are the Kat Von D Lock It Tattoo Foundation and the Revlon Color Stay. I tried this one recently, and I tried this one a few months ago, and I can honestly say that these 2 are pretty comparable. They're definitely both full coverage foundations. If you have any blemishes or scarring or anything like that, these 2 are going to cover you up. And then a medium coverage foundation is my MAC Studio Fix Fluid. This one definitely is medium coverage, medium to full, because you can definitely build it up, but once you put it on and it's medium, it's not going to give you like a super full coverage, but it definitely does cover a lot. And this is, I think, $36 or something like that. So a light coverage foundation that I have is the L'Oreal True Match, and this is $12.99 at the drugstores in Canada. This is super light. It even feels light when you apply it because it's kind of runny in texture. But in terms of coverage, it is pretty light. So if you have any super like a lot of acne, you're kind of going to have to apply like 3 layers of this, so this might not be the best choice for you. So after you've chose what coverage you feel like you need, you can move on to finishes. So there's tons of different finishes when it comes to foundation. There's matte finishes, there's dewy finishes, and natural finishes. The list can go on really if you want to get technical. This is a beginner's video, and really if you're just going to make it easy and break it down, there's really 3 finishes if you're kind of going to narrow it down. So matte, dewy, and natural. So just to explain those a little bit, a dewy finish is going to give you like a really highlight, like a glowy face. So it's really going to glow on your cheekbones or your T-zone. So this may not be ideal for someone who has oily skin. However, it all comes down to preference. Like personally for me, I do like matte finishes, but I love my L'Oreal True Match because it gives you the most amazing dewy finish. And when you kind of feel like one day you kind of want to glow and you want to highlight and you want to look really young and youthful and just glowy and illuminized, a dewy finish is ideal. So even if you have oily skin, you might just put up with it just because you kind of want to look glowy that day. A matte finish is a finish that's going to give you absolutely no shine at all. Like it's just going to look really matte and flat on your face. So this may be ideal for someone who has oily skin just because they get oily and shiny on their T-zone. So even with a matte foundation, their oil throughout the day would shine through anyways. So they kind of really need something that's going to be matte and have no shine at all. But again, it all comes down to preference. These two are super matte. However, they're not going to look too flat and too cakey on your face, so you don't have to worry about that. Natural finish is more of just something that isn't dewy, so it's not going to make you glow, but it also isn't so flat and like dead and matte. It's kind of just like a regular standard natural finish. And for that, I would say my MAC Studio Fix Fluid gives me a nice natural finish. It doesn't make me glow at all, but it also doesn't give me like too flat of a face, if that makes sense. So the last step to choosing your foundation, it would be to choose your texture. This is totally a step that's kind of optional. You may not be picky in terms of texture. It is kind of important in terms of powder and then liquid, because typically if you have dry skin, you don't want to go for a powder foundation. A powder foundation that I have is my MAC Studio Fix Foundation Powder. This is the same as the fluid, except this is the liquid and this is the powder. So typically if you have dry skin, you don't want to go for a powder foundation because it's going to cling to those patches. You want something that's going to kind of be really liquidy and runny. If you have oily skin, powder may be your #1 choice because you may just feel more comfortable with that. However, if you have oily skin, you still can wear liquid foundations. You just go for sort of a matte finish liquid foundation like the Kat Von D or the Revlon Color Stay. Narrow it down, I would say just a liquid or a powder. So once you've got that down packed, whether or not you want a powder or a liquid, then you kind of don't really have to worry about mousse or airbrush or all of that because it's kind of the same as liquid in a way, in sort of a beginner's sense. Just for reference, the Kat Von D Lock-It Tattoo is liquid, however it is rather moussey, like it has an airy, fluffy, thick feeling to it. But again, like I said, that's something that once you've done the other steps, and you kind of narrowed your search down, you can feel the foundations that you've narrowed them down to and see what texture feels best to you. So once you've got those steps down packed, it should be easier for you to kind of find a foundation that you're interested in. Now, in terms of actually finding the foundation, like, yeah, you may know that you want a drugstore, full coverage, mattifying foundation, but in terms of finding which ones do that, you could either do it the old school way and just visit your local Target, Walmart, whatever drugstore and kind of look through each brand and then see what their claims are. And then that way you can test different ones out that do the claims that you want. Or you could go on YouTube, which I personally like the best because you can see what different people are saying about different foundations. Another tip is asking for samples. Kind of one of the perks and bonuses of shopping high-end, because if you go to Sephora, they do give you samples. It's amazing. You can literally just go, you know what, I don't know if I'm gonna like this Kat Von D foundation. Can I please have a sample? And they'll give you a little sample cup and you can squeeze the foundation out. So that's one of the perks of shopping high-end. But of course in drugstore you can't really do that. but it kind of is in the same sense where if you go to the drugstore, they have the Try Me versions, and you can just test it on your finger and maybe just try it on your chin, walk around a little bit, you know, shop around and see how it feels on your face, and you could sort of do it that way. Another thing is ask about the return policy. Again, another perk of shopping high-end. Sephora and MAC will always take back any foundations that you didn't like, or if it's the wrong color or something like that. You could always go to your local drugstore, ask them what the policy is in terms of foundation or makeup in general, and see what they will do for you. So those are my steps to finding your perfect right foundation for you, and sort of some tips that I had at the end there. I really hope that I made this video easy for you guys to follow, and I hope that you watch this video and kind of sort of start searching for your foundation. And please let me know if this video actually helped you find a foundation. Write that in the comments down below, because it honestly makes my day when you guys tell me that my videos actually helped. And I do read comments and I reply to them all the time, so please write that in the comments down below. I tried to make this video as easy as possible, so please like this video if it actually helped you and if you enjoyed this video, and leave any requests down below for any other beginners videos and I will do them for you guys. So thank you so much for watching, guys, and I will talk to you guys in my next video.